What is your owned EBITDA? Here's a concept that I recently heard about that I think all business buyers should get familiar with. Most ETA entrepreneurs, they want to own 100% of the business. They want to have all of the equity because you want to own everything and you want to participate in all of the upside, right? But a lot of times it may be better to acquire a small smaller percentage of a much larger business. Let's consider two scenarios. Scenario one, you acquire a $1 million EBITDA business and you own 100% of it. So you own $1 million of EBITDA in this case. Scenario two, you acquire a $5 million EBITDA business, so a much larger business, but you only own 20% equity in that business. The rest of the 80% is owned by other investors that came in on the deal with you. In both cases, you effectively own $1 million of EBITDA. But the second business is a much better business because it's a much larger business. There are so much more resources available for you to grow the business. There's that much more ammo available for you to throw at the business. Because in the first business, you probably have about $300,000 of payroll. Because it's $1 million EBITDA business, it's probably doing $5 million of revenue, right? The second business is a 5 million EBITDA business. It's probably doing $20 million of revenue, and it probably has $3 million of payroll. So you have that many more resources to use to grow the business, and it's going to be that much more hands-free for you yourself. So, and there's probably many more established systems in the second business than in the first business because it's a much larger business, right? So it's probably a lot of times better to own a smaller percentage of a much larger business than just try to own everything yourself and be limited to smaller deals. So yes, the second deal is probably much more difficult to execute because you'll have to coordinate with all the other investors and structure the much larger deal, but it's probably well worth your effort. So think about the owned EBITDA and not how much of the company you own. Because if you own 20% of five different companies that are making $5 million EBITDA, you essentially own $5 million EBITDA. And theoretically, that is possible. But the other scenario where owning 100% of five different $1 million EBITDA companies is basically not possible because it will require so much more of your time. You need to be there in five different places at the same time, which is basically impossible.